In a very embarrassing move, WWE announced this week that the Money in the Bank pay-per-view on July 2nd, which was set for Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the site of last year's SummerSlam, and the first Money in the Bank to ever be held inside of a stadium, will no longer be held inside of a stadium, and instead it is being moved to the smaller MGM Grand Garden Arena, the same building AEW ran for its first Double or Nothing show 3 years ago. Tony Khan has been having some fun with this. He's probably not having too much fun right now with this whole MJF situation, but he was having fun on Friday, saying that he and his father had dinner with Dana White on Thursday, and he was the one who broke the news to Dana about WWE moving from Allegiant to MGM. He called it a genius move, trying to take on Dana and the UFC in Vegas during International Fight Week. That was a very stupid thing for them to do. He's not wrong. For them to run the same night that UFC is running, in the same city, UFC 276 is at the T-Mobile Arena that night, and because UFC is running T-Mobile, WWE couldn't even move the show there. They had to settle for MGM, which is the smaller of the two buildings. And when a fan tweeted at Tony and said, "Still sold 17,000 tickets, someone is afraid of competing," Khan wrote back, "Good plan, selling 17,000 seats to a 12,000 seat arena." You know, sometimes he doesn't make the best use of social media sometimes, but this is not one of those times. I was thoroughly entertained by Tony the Troll. WWE is offering fans who bought tickets to the stadium refunds and a special password for the pre-sale for the new arena, which is taking place on June 1st. But the password is already out for everyone. I mean, it's not hard to find. It's a mess because they had already sold more tickets for the stadium show than they have available seats in the new building. And people who already paid for flights and hotels, most of them are probably fine if they're still planning on going. But if for some reason they're not going to be going to the show anymore, they have to try to get their money back now. Maybe someone who paid for great seats at Allegiant gets shut out at the new building and decides, you know what, I don't want to go. Or if they're going as a family, maybe this time they can't get 4 or 5 or 6 seats together like they could at the stadium, which is bigger. Meltzer says the decision was actually made 2 weeks ago to make the move, but for whatever reason, they continue to advertise the show for Allegiant Stadium. It's all very strange to me because they already had 17 or 18,000 tickets for the show sold. They weren't opening up the entire stadium because they had no chance of selling out the entire stadium. I don't even think they sold out the entire stadium for SummerSlam. You weren't going to sell it out for Money in the Bank. So they were expecting maybe around 30,000 in a building that can fit at least double that. And 30,000 is still a great number. 25,000 is still a very good number. A month out. I don't know if they would have gotten to 30. Evidently, they felt they weren't going to because why move the show? This is supposed to be part of Nick Khan's plan to run more stadium shows so they can fit more people into the building. So instead of running an NBA building with, let's say, 15,000 people, capacity with the stage and everything, they could run a stadium and get 25,000. Instead of selling 16,000 tickets, they could sell 28,000 or 30,000 tickets. And probably still make it look pretty good on TV and not look too empty. So, again, why the change? It sounds to me like Vince McMahon was worried that it wasn't going to look good on TV because they couldn't sell enough tickets. They just sold out the Allstate Arena in Chicago this week for Hell in a Cell, which is coming up next month. So I can't sit here and tell you the product is ice cold right now. In some places, they're doing very well, but the product is not anywhere near as hot as it once was. There are some people who want you to believe that wrestling as a whole and WWE, because they make billions and billions of dollars, oh, it's so hot. It's such a hot product. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is not nearly as hot and as popular as it was many years ago when they weren't making as much money as they're making now. Because they don't just make money off tickets. That used to be their bread and butter. They would make money on tickets, they would make money on pay-per-views, but they got their guaranteed money. There's so many different ways this company makes money, whether it's the TV contracts, whether it's merch, whether it's streaming, whatever it might be. But, there's this illusion in some circles that this company, because of how much money they make, the product is so hot. It's a white hot product. No, it's not. And this is proof positive of that. Because there was a period of time that they could have packed in Allegiant Stadium for a show like Money in the Bank. And when I say packed, even if they don't sell it out, they could get 30, 35, 40,000 people in there. With the product now, have you watched Raw or SmackDown? You think that they're going to pack in 30,000, 40,000 people in Allegiant Stadium for a Money in the Bank show? I mean, when I mentioned the Nick Khan stuff a few weeks ago and what his plans were, I thought it was smart. I understood why he would, want to do it. But to do an about face like this after they already sold tickets and they've been running commercials with Cody Rhodes standing in the middle of Allegiant Stadium is embarrassing. He was standing in the middle of an empty stadium. That's where he might still be there. And now, whatever plans they had for Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar on the show and possibly Ronda Rousey might be out the window because in the new poster for the show, I know Roman was on the old poster. I don't know if Brock was, but he was due back for that show. On the new poster, all three of them are nowhere to be found. On the new poster, all three of them are gone. Roman has been replaced by Cody Rhodes, just like what happened with Hell in a Cell. And at Hell in a Cell, Roman Reigns is not on that show. So did they take all three of them off Money in the Bank because it's no longer a stadium show? Why did they think running Money in the Bank in a stadium was a good idea? If it boils down to ticket sales, again, I cannot stress this enough. The WWE product is not hot enough to run 3 stadium shows in the span of 2 months. They're going to do it anyway. But when you do it, this is the kind of problem that you run into. Remember, SummerSlam at the end of July is at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Clash at the Castle is at Principality Stadium in Cardiff on Labor Day weekend. They've got 22,000 tickets out for SummerSlam so far, with 2 months left to go. They're already running 4 for the price of 3 discounts locally. So they're already discounting tickets to try to get more people into the stadium. Nissan Stadium fits up to 69,000 people. Nissan is not 69ing WWE. They're not getting that many people in there. They're not even going to get close to that number in that building. Are they going to move that too? Nick Khan wants to run even more stadium shows in 2023. Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, they could always claim there was a bomb threat made on the show like they did with WrestleMania 7. I still love that story. They booked the LA Memorial Coliseum, which could have fit close to 100,000 people. They booked that a year out for WrestleMania 7. For the all-American hero, Hulk Hogan, against the evil Iraqi sympathizer, Sergeant Slaughter, thinking that they would sell it out or come close to selling it out. The only thing that bombed were their ticket sales. So they moved it. And they had 20,000 people in the building. They need a good, evil heel foreigner that they can blame this on.